What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be checking out Nemesis Lockdown. Nemesis Lockdown is a curious title because effectively this is a board game by Awaken Realms, who are very, very famous in the board game community for making very, very large games with enormous boxes that have tons of moving parts and lots of crazy things going on that cost a pretty penny. But they've been slowly digitizing all of their games and bringing them on over to Steam, which is great because not everybody can afford $150 or $200 for a board game, but a lot of people can afford $10, $20 for a digital board game adaptation that is one by one redone by the developers that made the board game. And so I'm very excited about this. This is a very, very good board game, and it's honestly a good video game too, but it's very, very deep, it's very, very complex, and it's going to take a lot of explanation. So I want you guys to buckle in with me because this is going to be a long video, and this is going to be a video that's very wordy with a lot of explanation, and the reason for that is pretty simple. The tutorial for this game is bad. It's like really, really bad, and there's not a lot of resources on the internet for figuring out how to play this game, and so me noticing that and knowing how to play the game and having spent the last 3 or 4 days playing it a ton, I'm going to try to teach you to play the game while I also give you my impressions of the game. That way we're getting kind of a double whammy here. So anyways, what is Nemesis Lockdown? Nemesis Lockdown is a board game being converted on over to a video game in early access right now, where you are a group of survivors that are in a Martian base that's being overrun by Xenomorphs, and you've got to complete your objective and escape without getting gutted and dying, or getting impregnated, or getting your eyeballs torn out, or getting your leg blown off, or burning to death in nuclear fire, or getting killed by your teammates who may actually have a mission from corporate to kill you for deniability reasons because you've seen too much. All that kind of stuff. And so it's one part co-op game, one part social deduction is my teammate trying to backstab me game, and so you never quite know exactly what's going to happen, and that's given this game a huge amount of replayability. I've played about 15 rounds now for about 15 hours, and I've never had a same game. They've always come out different ways, and so that makes it really, really fun. So if after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. On top of that, you can also take a look down there for my Discord and my Twitch stream. There's a strong chance that I'm going to end up streaming this game at some point over the next week because I really, really like the game, but I don't really have a schedule right now, so be sure to check out the Discord. But let's dive on into a game because we've got a lot of explanation to do, otherwise you guys are going to be in the dark, and I'm sorry for that, but this game is going to be kind of a slow burner, but I promise you it's worth it if you get into it because it is a cool game. I'll also have some thoughts for you at the end of the video about things I think the early access could be doing better, but let's just jump into the nitty-gritty of it for right now, and I'll explain how the game functions so that you can get your feet wet. So these are our objectives. There is no chance we're going to complete either of these objectives, but I'm going to take them. Basically, this is a preview. We don't have to pick these objectives just yet, but they are objectives that we have. After that, they're going to let us choose our character. We are on a timer. There's 6 characters in this game. They all played very differently, and they all adapt to different objectives in different ways. I'm going to go with the hacker because he gives us a lot of scouting, which is going to maybe allow us to complete the explore all rooms task and maybe get off the space station. The lab rat is very good for sabotage gameplay because she's kind of one with the horde. But the character classes are hacker, sentry, survivor, lab rat, xenobiologist, and janitor. And all of them do different things and have basically different chances of completing their objectives based on their abilities. But for right now, let's talk about the point of Nemesis Lockdown. You're a brand new character. You just spawned in for the first time in your first map grid. You have no idea what's going on. What are you trying to do here? Well, your first objective is really just to complete your objective. After you complete your objective, your goal is to not get infected. And then your third goal is to escape the map by either making it to the bunker, making it to the isolation room, or escaping inside one of the escape pods. And so anyways, we know where the bunker is. We know where the isolation room is, but the isolation room doesn't open until we are on phase 8, and the bunker doesn't open until someone has died. One of the players has actually expired. And so anyways, the bunker will never open for us because we're playing in single player. I felt like it'd be much easier. This game shines brightest in multiplayer, but I feel like it's easier to explain the game in single player where I can control all of the variables and tell you what's happening step by step while not being on a time limit that's been prescribed by the game, because multiplayer is all on a time limit for how long you have for your turns. With it like this, I can just sit here and explain stuff nonstop and never get broken off by the game. And so that out of the way, now that you know the objective of the game, How do you accomplish that? Well, you have a timeline. This timeline is the game is broken up into 15 basically phases. Things are going to happen on the in-between of these phases, so when you transition from phase 15 to phase 14, there's going to be an event phase where the map plays against you, and certain rooms will malfunction, they'll burn down, things will go wrong, aliens will attack people, that kind of stuff. The phases are divided up pretty simply. Your character has action cards. These action cards are all things that your character can do. If they're lit up in green, that means you can do them right now in this room. If they're red, it means you need to go to a different room in order to make those work. So there's nothing to search in this room, so we can't do a search action. However, your action cards have a dual purpose. They allow you to do stuff that your character's class enables him to do, but they also allow you to contextually interact with the various rooms that you're in. So if I wanted to walk through that door right there, it's going to cost me one of my cards. I have to discard one. If I wanted to hack a computer that's inside of a room, I'd have to discard one of my cards. And when you run out of cards, either by using class actions or room actions, that's when the phase moves to the next phase over. So there you go. That's the flow of gameplay. The UI, the top right, is your wounds. We have no wounds right now. You can get 9 light wounds in total. Every 3 light wounds you get will convert into a heavy wound. A heavy wound will come with debuffs. Those debuffs will affect you for the rest of the game unless you can stabilize that wound. And once you've stabilized the heavy wound, you can heal it off completely, provided you have specific items, or you make it to the emergency room, which is a medical room that exists somewhere on the map to heal yourself. Underneath that, we have our character's knowledge. Knowledge is important, and it's accessed from this menu right here because as your knowledge goes up, you know more about how to kill the Xenomorphs. And so anyways, at 3, we get a bonus. At 5, we get a bonus. And at 8, we get a bonus. And so anyways, you need to analyze various objects in the lab, like corpses or eggs or other stuff like that, in order to increase your knowledge. Sometimes you can also hack computers to increase your knowledge, but it's a good thing to do because unless you have like 5 knowledge minimum, there's a pretty good chance you're going to die at the end of the game when the contingencies go off. What are contingencies? Contingencies are things that happen in the epilogue of the game, and they are basically a corporation that you are hired by trying to decide how they want to deal with the situation. So some of these things at the beginning of the game, in multiplayer, every character is going to know one thing that is impossible, and it's up to you whether or not you want to share that information with your teammates or sabotage them to kill them. There are also things that are possible that corporate might do. So as of right now, we know that it's impossible that corporate will kill everybody in the CSS. Which is the escape pods. We also know that it is impossible that they will kill everybody with knowledge less than 5 in isolation or the bunker. However, there's duplicates of this one right here, and there's duplicates of this one over here. And so it gives you a synopsis of the escape methods and what chance of survival they give you should you go for that escape method right here at the bottom. Now, it is possible that corporate will save us all. We've got a 20% chance of that happening. It is possible they will kill everyone that doesn't have 5 knowledge that chooses to hide in the isolation or the bunker. It's also doubly possible right here that they will kill everyone in the isolation or the bunker that did not turn on the distress signal. It's also entirely possible that they'll kill everybody in isolation for no reason whatsoever with no criteria. And so we want to take these into account before we choose our method of escape. And that would include like spying on our teammates, stealing their contingencies, like learning what theirs are via hacking. You can also go to various rooms to eliminate some of these possibilities and make it more likely that you get an outcome that you want. But for right now, we should just assume that the escape pods are the only way that we're getting off Mars safely. Because we have 40% chance of dying in the bunker, 60% chance of dying in the bunker, 80% chance of dying in isolation. So, like, really, those aren't realistic options. Aside from that, we also have our heavy items. So we have 2 hands. Those 2 hands can carry heavy items. Heavy items are denoted by a little symbol that looks like this on the item card that you're carrying. We can get hands cut off. That is one of the heavy wounds, and in that case, you can only carry 1 heavy item. So that's bad. We also have our backpack. Everybody in the game has a starting quest item in their backpack that allows them to do something. For us, it's cheat codes. It means that if we can get to the archive and we can play this card, we will get access to cheat codes, which allows us to either initiate the self-destruct, close or open 3 doors simultaneously, or swap 2 CSS tokens if we are in the archive. And so anyways, swapping the CSS tokens is important because these right here are launches. These icons. So these are escape pods launching. you might note that there's more of them than you would think there would be. There's 6 of them, even though there's 3 escape pods. That's on purpose. You don't know what is launching when. And so every single one of these is a chance that an escape pod is launching. It's a chance that it's malfunctioning. Maybe all of them malfunction. One of these is all of them launch. Like, you never quite know. And so we kind of want to figure that information out before we go too much further on into choosing an escape method. So anyways, we have 2 quests here. Both of them are equally unattainable. We got 2 of the hardest quests in the game, in my opinion. We can send we can send the distress signal, and we can explore every single room, and then after that, we're free to escape. Or we can send the signal and kill the queen, and then we can escape. This one is flatly out because we're not playing a combat class right now, and actually it's really, really hard to catch the queen should you desire to kill her. And so anyways, I'm not chasing the queen all over the map, going to try to kill her by myself, so we're probably going to go with this one. This character does have strong scouting, which will allow us to check 2 unexplored rooms, and that's a really, really good plan. But anyways, for the time being, we've got to decide what we want to do. And in fact, there's 2 tabs I haven't told you about, and I said I was going to make this into kind of a guide. This is your computer card. If you interact with a computer, this is what actions you can take. After you take an action from this, it throws it out, and it gives you another one, which will have different actions on it. We also have the crafting menu. If you have certain items, you can combine them to make other items. One is an Enviro suit so that you can escape out into space to the bunker. One of them is a taser to stun players and monsters. One of them is a flamethrower. One's a pistol. One is a cure just in case you're contaminated. You don't know what you're going to have as you go through the game, so I kind of piece these together as I play. But in general, crafted items are not relevant like 80% of the time. But sometimes they are really, really relevant. You just never know what you're going to get. All right. So at this phase of the game, I think there's only 2 things left for us to explain, and one of them is quick. This is the lighting level. If it's dark, you get malices to your attacks in combat, and the alien gets bonus to his. And then if you are in the light, you get bonuses, and the alien gets detractions. So you always want to fight in the light if you possibly can. The other thing is the map. The map is a vertical cross-section of the play space. At the beginning of the game, the repository, the rover, the alert room, and the isolation room and the backup power supply are revealed to the player. Those are always in the same spot. However, all the other rooms are randomized. So if you go over here, you can mouse over the various rooms that might be in each playthrough, and it'll tell you where they might possibly be. That's really, really important because, in my opinion, this is where the huge amount of replayability in this game comes from. And so anyways, if an area is red, that means it's dark and unpowered. If it's blue, it means it's light and it is powered. So what we need to do is we need to get down to the backup battery, and we need to turn it on so that we can move all these power grids around. And then on top of that, all of these little -1s right here go away if the backup power is on. These little triple lightning bolts, that's the global power level going down no matter what you do. And so anyways, the game is always kind of trending towards darkness. There's no way around that. For right now, we're ready to play the game. I know, that only took like 15 minutes of explaining, and hopefully I didn't go too fast. I'm still going to explain stuff along the way because this is going to be a long video, probably around 40 minutes to an hour for us to do like one full game, whether we win or lose. But I'll try to explain everything I see along the way and all the things that I think they could be doing better in the early access along the way so we can hit 2 birds with 1 stone. For right now... the cards that we have on hand, we can scout 2 rooms, which goes along with the objective that we're trying to accomplish. So that's an option. That technically can be done. However, then we won't have enough cards to get down to the bottom floor. Let's take it one step at a time. Let's go through a door. That's going to cost us 1 card. You may note that there's 2 different types of movement. I'll talk about what that means once we get into the next room, because then you will see what happens when you do a standard move, and you will have a context for why the careful move is important. So we'll go ahead and use Interruption. That's a card that's only useful in multiplayer to move into here. And we found the Surgery, and we rolled a Claw. So every time you do a standard move, you're going to move into a room, and you're going to make a roll on a 6-sided die. That 6-sided die can roll a 1 through 4, or it can roll claws, or it can roll X's. The 1 through 4 basically puts a noise token on the door that matches the number that you rolled. We rolled a claw. That puts a noise on every single entrance to this room. If you roll an X, that's a silence, which adds no noise to any of these directions. Now, what that means is, were I to leave this room and come back, if I rolled a noise on a 4, this already has a token on it. Nothing bad happens when the first token is placed on a location. However, if a second token is placed on a location, that means an alien enters from that direction in all likelihood. And so anyways, were I to roll a 4, an alien would enter from the repository, get a surprise attack on us, and then we would have to deal with that alien before we could move out of the room safely. And so that's why the noise system matters. Why would you use a cautious move? Well, a cautious move allows you to pay 2 cards to move into a room, but it lets you choose where that noise token goes. So if you've got a room that's already got like a noise token on 2 out of 3 entrances, you probably want to enter that room quietly to avoid an alien spawning on top of you, and that's kind of the risk-reward between the 2 different movement types. This room also has a medical repository where I could loot an item, and we've verified that this is the surgery room. So this is where you would come if you had a larva living inside of you and you needed to remove it. The surgery room basically removes all of your contamination and any larva or like face hugger that may have impregnated you. And so you can't leave the base with a face hugger inside you. You're basically guaranteed to die. And so anyways, you need to come back to the surgery to get rid of it should that happen. We're going to go this way now that we've figured out what this room is. And that's going to take us to the elevator room. We're going to go ahead and discard our search card to do that. And we're going to hope that we don't roll a 2. We rolled another claw. The dice are really cold right now. We're getting really, really bad rolls. That's unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and call the elevator with one of our cards since it's powered. There we go. We are going to get into this elevator. And we're going to go down to the bottom floor. And we're going to use the bypass to do that. There we go. We're now on the bottom floor of the base, as you can see. What I would like to do for right now is we could either move into the backup power so that we could turn it on the next turn, or we can use our scouting card to scout out the various rooms that are around here. And I think I'm going to scout rooms instead. So I'm going to scout down here just to figure out what those 2 rooms are. We have a testing lab. So if we have 4 knowledge... Oh, well, it moved on to the events phase without me. So the power went out on the top floor. There are more aliens on this floor. And that's the end of the transmission. Not too bad. Could be worse. But anyways, with that scouting roll, we found the testing lab and we found the transmitter. So, if we turn on the transmitter, that will instantly make it much more likely that we will survive if we go to the isolation room or the bunker. So that's not a bad idea. That's not a terrible plan. That will basically increase our survival rate by what looks like about 40% going to isolation right there. So that's not too bad. That's not awful. So it's an option. The other room is not for us. That's the testing lab. If we had any alien parts or the corpses of our comrades on us, we could go to the testing lab if we were smart enough, and we could test those things to increase our knowledge even further, as far as I understand. But unfortunately, me, big dumb character that only know about computers. And so we don't really, that's not really a thing that's important to us for right now. What is important is that we turn on the backup power supply. And how bad is the noise in here? There's 2 entrances, so it's a 50-50 when we go in here that will spawn an alien. I'm going to quiet move to guarantee that that doesn't happen. So we'll go that, and we will go demolition to pay for that quiet move. We will put the noise on that door right there to avoid getting attacked by an alien, and then we'll use 2 cards to turn on the backup power. So there we go. Done. Backup power is on. So now I can decide what areas are powered. There's 4 areas that you can power. It's the 3 floors and the elevator. I'm going to depower the elevator so that Section 3 has power and so that Section 2 has power. Because we need to turn on this signal, and then we need to scout the entire base before we're allowed to escape. It's a very, very hard objective, so don't get frustrated with this one. It's a difficult objective. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're going to do our best. For right now, what we could do is we could move into the next room. However, 2 out of 3 of the areas have a noise counter on them, so that might be incredibly risky. It's kind of hard to say. We might get attacked by an alien if we do this. Actually, there's a 33% chance we're going to get attacked by an alien if we do this. So, quiet moves, I guess. We'll go ahead and pass our turn. That's always an option.
Attention.
and we'll wait and see what happens here. However, time is not on our side. So an alien actually spawned on us, so now we have to pick an objective because the first alien has been seen. We'll go no stone unturned. A intruder has spawned inside the backup power supply. He's going to get a free attack on us, which sucks because now we're down by 30% of our health. It's really, really bad. I wish that that had not happened. A little bit of a cheese move by the game, but it is what it is. The alien is now in the room with us. The good news here, though, is that for a preview, I can explain to you how combat works, because combat seems to confuse a lot of people. All right, so combat. Combat's actually really, really simple. You click on your gun, you click on the alien. It's going to tell you your chance to hit, so we've got a 66% chance to hit the alien. Where people seem to get confused is with the toughness system for how you fight aliens. And so we'll go ahead and shoot at him. We hit him, and now we can pay another card for additional damage. I am going to take that. So we'll go ahead and put that in right there.
It does.
There you go. We blasted him with our smart pistol for 1 damage. Unfortunately, it didn't kill him, because like a little 9mm shot is usually not enough to kill off an alien. However, what you'll see from the event log here is that we dealt 1 damage to him, and then it says it drew his HP at 4. What that means is, every time you hit an alien in this game, you add a wound to them. And then they draw from a deck of cards that have numbers on them, and if the number they draw is equal to or less than the amount of tokens you've already put on them for damage, they die. And so he drew a 4, and we've only got 1 damage on him, so we got to go again. Here we go. We dealt 2 damage, which equals 3, and the toughness card that he flipped over was a 2. So we've killed that alien right there. We're good to go. We can finally move on out. And that's how combat functions. Good. I've re-recorded this video like 6 times now, the first couple times I felt like I was explaining things poorly and I wasn't using enough clarity. And then the other times were either technical issues or I swear to God, dude, just like I do an entire playthrough and see no aliens, you know? And it was just like, well, damn, how am I supposed to teach people combat if no aliens show up? I just want the aliens to show up. They're like the funnest part of the Aliens franchise. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on into here. Oh, that's right. I'm injured. I forgot about that, so it takes me 2 cards to move instead of 1. Huh. I'm like crazy happy about that. I think I'd rather recharge my gun then if I can't move into the next room. I don't like not having ammo in this game. It makes me feel nervous.
Attention. Intruder movement detected. Increased intruders activity.
Yeah, of course there's increased activity on the floor that I'm currently occupying, because why wouldn't it work like that? Why wouldn't there be more aliens on the floor that I'm currently trying to escape? We got the base plan again. We should probably play that, just so we have a good idea what we're walking into. We're going to be going this way anyways, so we don't need to scout it. But we can scout that one, and we can scout that one. And there is a strategy to what I'm doing. We found the laboratory, and we found the nest. Okay. So the nest is right there. We definitely don't want to go to the nest. There is a lab right there, though. Technically, I could pick up the alien corpse. Oh, did it despawn? Where's it at? There it is. You can pick up the alien corpse, and if you scan it in the lab, it'll give you like a whole bunch of knowledge. And so anyways, it's an option. We'll go ahead and do a standard move into the next room. Go with rest and recharge. We rolled 1. Okay. Oh, no, 1's bad. 1's really bad. Oh, we spawned another alien on ourselves, dude. It's a creeper. He might not have any interest in us, though. Like, we might be able to just, like, peace out. Then again, there's medical supplies in here, and I kind of want them. So maybe I, like, nuke this fibrous turd. My chance to hit. 83? Sometimes the creepers aren't even really interested in you, in all honesty. I don't know, let's waste him. You get a bunch of points anyways for killing things.
It does.
He drew 5 HP. It's not great. Could be better.
Are you going to bark all day, little doggy?
He drew 5 again. Not great. We're about to get chewed on a little bit. We're about to have a bad time.
Attention. Intruder movement detected. Power failure in section 2.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I don't like it when power's on the second floor. Forget about that noise.
Under attack.
I got attacked, but he missed, so that's good. At least the nerd is terrible at attacking.
Evolved into adult.
Okay, one of the larvae on the map turned into an adult xenomorph, so that's, like, less than ideal. But, like, honestly, we dodged that attack right there, so I'm actually pretty happy at the moment. I'm, like, not that upset about it. Like, I feel like that could have gone a lot worse. Let's go ahead and we'll try to smart gun him again, I guess. Maybe he will die.
It does.
Yay, he's dead. Isn't he? Oh, he ran away. I mean, I'm kind of fine with that, but that means he's going to be in the next room where I need to go. Which is, like, minorly obnoxious. I'm going to search this crate for meds. We got some pants, and we've got research documents. Gain 1 knowledge for every discovered intruder weakness. I'm just going to take the pants, and then I'm going to use the pants to dress my wound so that I can move through doors and stuff without getting injured.
All heavy wounds have been dressed.
I have no ammo left, which is kind of concerning. I'm gonna use my scouting card to continue scouting areas. Is that the... No, that's not the nest. That can't be the nest. We're gonna scout these two right here. It's the vent control room and the defense control room. Okay, so the ventilation allows you to vent all the air out of a room to kill a player or to kill an alien, and also to put out fires. And then the defense control room allows you to basically perform an exterminatus on a room and, like, kill an alien. Just for context of what those do and what they mean inside the meta of the game. We are inside the archive right now, which I think means that I can get cheat codes, so I might as well grab those while I'm over here. So there you go. We now have our cheat codes. I don't know how helpful they're going to be, but we have cheat codes now.
Codename Short Circuit.
Aw, dude, the room caught on fire. I'm about to take damage. Lame.
Larva evolved into adult.
Are the aliens going to move around at all, or is he just going to block my egress over there and be annoying? It looks like he's going to block my egress, so I think we go back around and get to the signal room the other way. I don't want to deal with this guy. I don't. So I'm going to go back to... How many noise things do I... No noise things. Okay. So we're going to go back to backup power supply. Rest card is fine. Roll a 1. That's okay by me. Like, I'm perfectly all right with that. We got to get to the signal room so that we can send our distress signal. Otherwise, bad things happen. We'll get rid of Neuralink right here. Roll a 4. That's still okay because that door has no noise on it. We want to go to the testing lab now. And we're going to go, it works for me.
Well, here's another mess.
Rolled a 2. That's perfectly fine. And then I need to reload my gun and get 2 more ammo in it. And then I need to loot one of these med kits so that maybe I can get my heavy wound off. We can get an antiseptic, which gets rid of a contaminant. Or we can get a medical stapler, which allows us to either dress a heavy wound or heal off all of our light wounds. Not what I was looking for, but maybe we'll get it on the next turn. I'll take the medical stapler. Nothing like a little bit of ka-chunk of health to make you feel more good about your life. All the noise got cleared off of this floor, so that's good. That helps us out a little bit. The backup generator apparently turned itself off after I belaboringly went through all the effort of turning it back on. But on the plus side, we're not getting eaten by aliens, so, like, I mean... This could be going a lot worse, is all that I'm saying. There's a med kit. That's what I wanted. All right, so we have the med kit now. I'm going to use the med kit to heal a heavy wound off. There we go. We are now right as rain and feeling better. Am I contaminated right now? I am not covered in contaminants right now, which is good. To the transmitter! Typo! The transmitter! Let's go ahead and we'll go over here. Please, no aliens in my face. Don't want no aliens in my place. Okay, so one of our objectives... Oh, we got slimed. Weak. Okay. Love getting slimed. That's my favorite. While you're slimed, basically, if you roll a silence, bad things happen. That's pretty much it. If you're slimed, it means that silences on your dice are no longer good. It means they're bad. Not just kind of bad, really, really bad. Let's go ahead and send the signal since that's our first objective. Boop, boop.
Attention.
There we go.
Movement detected.
It hath been sent.
Signal has been sent. No more suspicious activity in selected
There's no more noise on this floor, so that's really, really good. Oh, wow, we're already on phase 9, dude.
Intruders activity.
It's not great. Isolation room is now officially open. We have sent the signal. I mean, we've got half of our objectives done. I don't know if the Space Military Martian Research Base accepts like half well done jobs, but you know, it's possible. I'm gonna recharge my gun real quick. I did get a search card, like technically. I could, oh, there's a computer here. What's my computer card have? Put out a fire and drive out intruders. I could put out the fire in the archive. The reason why fires and malfunctions are important, did I talk about this already? Anyways, fires, any room that has a fire advances the burnout track. Any room that has a malfunction increases the destruction track. And if these hit 100%, the base goes up in a nuclear explosion and everyone dies that hasn't evacuated the base yet. And so anyways, it's kind of deadly. You kind of don't want that to happen. It's not ideal, okay? And so anyways, being consumed by nuclear flame has never been one of those things that I really aspire to. I can check 2 more rooms. Check you and you. Decon room, cave entrance. Okay, good. All right, the cave entrance, you can use that to move through the vents and come out of the vents in other places. The vents are these little rectangles on the sides of some rooms. Okay, so, like, I need to scout that room for my objective, but there's an alien in there, but he's pretty wounded. Like, he's pretty wounded, and he doesn't feel very good. Like, he's got kind of an upset alien tummy. I say we go in there and we waste his ass. That's what I say we do. I say we cruise on in here, we waste his ass. That's just how I feel about it. Let's do it. I believe. Oh, he ran back to the contamination room. Gotcha. All right, alien. Taste of my smart gun. Taste of it deeply.
Eat this.
He's dead. He rolled a 4 on his toughness finally, and we had 5 damage on him. That guy was definitely kind of a pain in the ass to go down. We do have a loot node over here, though, and I want that loot node. I will take... I don't know, like a, you know, a knife. Oh, it's a scalpel, dude. I thought it was a knife. I can remove the larva. Oh, no. Or I can attack an intruder. I'll take the knife because we can't escape while we have a larva inside of us. I mean, you can, but you usually die, so, like...
Power failure.
Oh, we're in darkness.
Event codename: Sanitary Network Failure.
Okay.
Queen activity detected.
Oh, good. The queen has spawned. Yay. The queen is the worst. If you think the adults hurt and you think that the creepers hurt, wait till you get smacked by the queen in this game. You get smacked by the queen, and it's all kinds of just bad. It's like ripperoonies. We want to go to the isolation room. Yeah, we want to go to isolation, I think.
All right.
Okay, rolled a 2. Still got slime on me, so actually at this point I'm not even cheering to roll silences anymore. Rolling a silence would be a bad thing for us. I'd rather not deal with it. We've got almost all the rooms filled in, though. So if we can keep using that floor plan ability, I think we should have scouted everything. I think. But we need to scout this guy over here. Nope, this guy. There we go. I need to go into this room. What's up with this room right here? I want my ammo. Kind of want Neuralink. We'll go with that.
Clear.
Oh, no! Cool. Thank you, Slime. You put noise on everything. This guy is available. Oh, never mind, dude. All the CSS pods already launched. Yeah, we can't escape via CSS. It's time to roll the dice on our survival. That's what I like to see right there. We got a 60% chance of surviving in isolation. Oh, boy. Okay. I mean, technically, we could just go for the isolation room right now, lock ourselves in it, and see what happens. I mean, we haven't completed our objective yet, so either way, we'll lose the game, but, like, we could do it. I do want to loot, but I don't know what I want. What do I have? So I've got cheat codes. Okay. I just had to, like, remind myself what I had in my inventory. I'm going to recharge. Oh, I have to be in a room with the power on to do that. Oh, none of the rooms have the powers on, though. Okay. I'm going to go for a weapon then. Hey, we got some ammo. Nice, dude. Okay. I'll take the ammo. What have I not scouted so far? So I got to go back to isolation, and I got to go in through there. I got to, like, draw a card to scout those last two and get that one up there. Okay, we're almost there. We'll go careful move on this one. Just to make sure we don't get an alien, because a fight right now will slow us down a lot.
New life form detected.
Yay, more alien life forms. That was actually a pretty easy event phase. Nothing bad happened. Game, are you okay? Are you all right, game? You have an upset tummy? Are you feeling okay? I'm going to go with recharge to get into here. Rolled a 4. That's perfectly fine. We could initiate the self-destruct from here, because that's what a nice person would do. We can check 2 rooms. So I'm going to check there, and I'm going to check there. So we found the CSS control room, and we found the emergency room. The CSS control room lets you look at the schedule for when the pods are leaving, so that's kind of a thing you want to find early. The decontamination room is where you go to literally decontaminate yourself. Like, if you've got contamination cards in your deck that are messing up your turns and lowering your AP, or your AP, that's where you go to, like, remove them and eliminate them so that, you know, you can get your full range of things back that you can do. Is that door closed? Oh, it is. Is it? No, it's not closed. I was going to say, why do I have a destroy door option here? Oh, because that door closed behind me when I came through. Beautiful. So that's going to be something we have to deal with. But as far as I can tell, there's only one room left that we need to scout, and then we should have completed our objectives. And then we can come back down here to the isolation room, lock ourselves in, and just, like, hope that we get a W and that we don't die in the epilogue. Two is fine. 2 is workable. As long as we don't roll like a 1 when we go into the next room, we should be okay.
I know.
I think. But for right now, this is about to get, like, a lot more dangerous. So.
Yeah.
Oh, the room's on fire. Beautiful. Okay. So that's the power generator. And as far as I know, we should have scouted every room, correctamundo? Doesn't appear to be giving us credit for it, but I filled in every single room. I don't think there's any empty rooms left. So maybe I actually have to physically walk through every single room, although I wouldn't know, like, even how you would get the AP to do something like that. You know what I mean? That's a tough one. Yeah, I think I have to go into every single room in order to complete the Explore All objective. I can't just use my scouting cards to do it. It's kind of a bummer. I sort of feel like it should work with the scouting cards because we've been moving nonstop and we're over halfway through the game right now. Like, there's literally no chance that we're going to be scouting all these rooms. Like, it's just not going to happen, you know what I mean? But it looks like these little cards light up for every single room that you've been to so far. So yeah, you've kind of got to like circle your way down if you've got that objective and hope that somebody else activates the transponder. Ripperoonies. Well, that's pretty much it for us. We're definitely not going to get the entire objective done, so I'm just going to go lock myself in the isolation room and end the episode. While I'm on my way over there, I would like to give you some of my thoughts about the game and things that I've noticed while I've been playing. Hopefully this worked pretty well as like a tutorial, just in case you're new to the game and you don't know how to play Nemesis Lockdown. Let me know how I did down below, because like I worked really, really hard on this one. Like, it's probably the culmination of like 30 hours of work, and I'm hoping I did a good job at explaining it, because a lot of people seem to be confused on the Steam forums. And so anyways, let me give you my thoughts on the game in closing, shall I? So I'm going to preface by saying that this is a really, really good board game. And I say that as somebody that's like a massive fan of Arkham Horror. Like, I personally believe that Arkham Horror is like the greatest board game like ever created. And I feel like Awaken Realms, like much like Fantasy Flight reinvigorated board games like in the early 2000s to like the 2010s. I think that Awaken Realms is throwing some very good ideas out there in our current timeline when it comes to board game design. I have a ton of board game experience, and this is a really tight, tense, difficult game where it feels different every run, and it never quite loses that intensity. The characters are varied, they all play differently, and each has a natural advantage when attacking certain objectives. So if you want to win, you really kind of need to draft the character that's copacetic with your ultimate goal. Otherwise, you've basically unnecessarily kneecapped yourself. Research goals, they tend to go best with the lab rat or like the xenobiologist or like the survivor. Combat objectives, I think, go a little bit better with like the soldier or with like the hacker. Exploration objectives go easier with the classes that can scout very, very quickly and move around the map. That having been said, while the core game design is very, very good, the video game adaptation does have some issues in early access. Creating lobbies is a little bit spotty, and there are connection issues. In all my multiplayer games that I've played so far, I don't think I've had a single one where players weren't disconnecting, like, infrequently. You can reconnect to the previously connected server pretty quickly, which is a really nice feature, but in the end goal here, we're aiming for a buttery smooth execution, not reconnect 3 times over an hour and a half. The graphics are very well done. I think they are appropriate. The lighting is really good. The sound design is incredible outside of some of the campy vocal performances. The game is very long in duration. Don't sit down to play this game unless you've got about 2 hours free in multiplayer. It also requires an internet connection for all types of play, including single player, but the developers have addressed on the forums that they are looking to detach the internet connection from the single player experience during early access, so it should be fixed at some point. The tutorial, like I said at the beginning of the game, is going to be the biggest spot where I think this game suffers. Onboarding is terrible with this game, and without a tutorial that was made by a YouTuber that I know from a long time ago named Daz Tactic, you should definitely check him out, and a lot of Googling and a lot of stubbornness and banging my head against it and looking for like books online and things like that. It took me a solid entire day to really learn what the hell was going on and understand all the game systems, and then like another day of kind of researching as things came up to figure out the minutia. A quick band-aid on this would be that every purchase of the game I think should come with a PDF of the board game rulebook. That's a really good quick band-aid right there so that players can actually actively look things up when they have a problem. And I think a long-term fix with this would actually be a fully interactive match that you play with the computer telling you what to do, why it matters, and the implications of the action that they are instructing. As it stands right now, it's just a link to a bunch of random board game videos in the tutorial and a bunch of random cuts from a game while somebody talks over. It's a really bad tutorial that basically teaches you nothing. And so that definitely needs to be cleaned up. As it stands right now, I would also like to see the end of game synopsis. It's jarring. Like when the game ends, it just ends, and you instantly cut to the after game synopsis. Like where are like the cutscenes? Like if somebody escapes in an escape pod, there should be a cutscene of that. If like the last player gets killed by the queen, there should be a cutscene of that. If the base erupts in nuclear fire, there should be a cutscene of that, and then go to the after game kind of butcher's bill, you know what I mean? Those things seem to be missing right now, and I definitely think they should be added, because the first time a game ended, I didn't even know what happened, because it happened during an event phase where like a final fire got lit that made the base blow up, and then there's no blow up. It just instantly goes from you standing there in the event phase to the after game synopsis. And so anyways, that's another thing that I found really, really jarring. But that out of the way, you know, this is a good pickup for people that already know how to play Nemesis Lockdown from the board game but don't want to drop 150 or 200 bucks on the actual physical box. There are technical issues, but if you are that person, this is actually a really good substitute. For new players, only get the game if you know there's going to be a really tough trip ahead of you on the path to learning the game due to lack of resources. And if you're okay with that, by all means jump in. It's a really fun board game with some rough edges, but like the learning curve is sheer enough that I think a lot of people may pass until a more conclusive tutorial is implemented. I put about 15 hours in the game and I've enjoyed every minute, but I'm kind of like notoriously stubborn when it comes to giving up on games, and I know not everybody is like that. And so anyways, I think I've talked about most of the stuff I noticed along the way. This is Nemesis Lockdown. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, like I said, Nemesis Lockdown. Hopefully it was helpful. Tomorrow there'll be something else. Thank you for swinging on through. And that's about all that I've got for you. Bye, everybody.